Hey everyone! If you're playing Genshin Impact and rocking Skirk as your main sword user, you probably already know how important it is to pick the right weapon. Skirk really shines when you boost her normal attack damage and crank up that crit value, so choosing the best sword can totally change the game for you. Today we're diving into the top weapons that will make Skirk absolutely deadly in battle. Whether you're smashing mobs or facing off against bosses, these swords will help you maximize her potential. I've tested a bunch of options, and trust me, not all swords are created equal for Skirk. Some give you raw power, others add that juicy crit boost or increase attack speed, which is perfect for keeping her normal attacks flowing like butter. So sit back, relax, and let's break down which weapons really bring out the best in Skirk. Ready to upgrade your loadout and wreck your enemies? Let's go!
I'm quickly moving on to the video.
Before we start, if you enjoy these types of list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching!
Thanks.
Alright, let's talk about the sturdy bone for Skirk in Genshin Impact. This sword starts off strong with a solid base attack of 565 and a secondary stat that boosts attack by 27.6%. That's nothing to sneeze at, especially for a 4-star weapon. The real kicker here is the effect when you reach Refinement Rank 5. Sprinting or using the alternate sprint drains 15% less stamina, and after sprinting, your normal attack damage gets a nice little bump equal to 32% of your attack. This buff lasts until it triggers 18 times or for 7 seconds, so it's pretty handy for keeping up pressure in combat. Now, while the stamina reduction is pretty neat, because who doesn't want to run around more without worrying about running out of stamina? The damage boost it gives to normal attacks is where it really shines for Skirk. Since she relies heavily on her normal attacks, this makes Sturdy Bone a decent choice to enhance her damage output. But here's the catch. Compared to other weapons that offer more versatile stats or additional effects like crit rate or elemental bonuses, Sturdy Bone falls a bit short. It's straightforward and reliable, but it doesn't pack the same punch as some other options out there. So if you're looking for a solid, easy-to-get sword that gives Skirk a consistent buff during fights, Sturdy Bone is definitely worth considering. However, if you want to maximize her potential, especially for endgame content, you might want to explore other weapons that offer more in terms of crit damage or elemental synergy. But hey, it's a good stepping stone and makes sprinting and attacking feel smooth, which, let's be honest, is always satisfying in Genshin Impact. Let's dive into Absolution, one of the 5-star weapons that really stands out on paper for Skirk in Genshin Impact. First off, the base attack is a hefty 674, which is already a solid foundation for any character looking to dish out damage. Then you've got a secondary stat that boosts critical damage by a whopping 44.1%. That's huge for any crit-based build and sounds perfect for a damage dealer like Skirk. So, at a glance, Absolution looks like a powerhouse weapon. But here's the twist. While Absolution's main stats are fantastic, the weapon's special effect isn't really tailored to Skirk's playstyle. The effect increases critical damage by an extra 20%, which is great, but the bonus damage that scales with a Bond of Life only helps if you're using characters who can build or benefit from those bonds. Skirk doesn't really get much from that part of the effect, which means a chunk of the weapon's potential is going to waste when equipped on her. So, in summary, Absolution is a solid 5-star weapon thanks to its massive base attack and crit damage boost, but it doesn't quite maximize Skirk's unique strengths. It's a powerful pick if you're just looking to boost her raw damage numbers, but if you want a weapon that truly complements her kit and abilities, you might want to consider other options that provide more tailored buffs or synergize better with her gameplay style. Still, if you happen to pull it, Absolution won't disappoint in sheer power. Alright, let's talk about the Primordial Jade Cutter and how it fits with Skirk in Genshin Impact. This 5-star sword comes with a respectable base attack of 542, which is a bit lower compared to some other top-tier weapons, but it makes up for it with a huge 44.1% boost to critical rate. That's a massive upgrade to Skirk's crit potential, which can definitely help her land those sweet, consistent critical hits in battle. The weapon's effect also gives a 20% increase to maximum health, plus an attack bonus based on 1.2% of the wielder's max HP. Now, while that sounds cool, it's not exactly ideal for Skirk. Her kit doesn't really scale well with HP, so that attack bonus from max HP doesn't contribute as much as you'd hope. Basically, you're getting a decent crit rate boost, but the passive doesn't maximize her damage output like some other weapons do. So, in a nutshell, Primordial Jade Cutter isn't the perfect fit for Skirk, but it's a solid fallback option if you don't have access to her best weapons. The crit rate boost is definitely valuable, especially if you're aiming for more consistent crits, but the lower base attack and HP-based passive mean it won't push her damage as far as some other choices. Still, if you're looking to improve her crit without grinding for the perfect sword, this one can do the job pretty well. Let's break down the Calamity of Aishu and why it's almost the perfect 4-star sword for Skirk in Genshin Impact. First off, it comes with a solid base attack of 565, which is impressive for a 4-star weapon, and it boosts attack by 27.6% as a secondary stat. That's already a great foundation for Skirk to dish out damage, especially since she benefits a lot from raw attack boosts. But the real magic happens with the weapon's refinement rank 5 effect. When Skirk is protected by a shield, her normal and charged attack damage gets a huge 40% increase, plus her crit rate for those attacks jumps by 16%. This is a massive boost that really amps up her damage potential, making her normal attacks hit way harder and crit more often. It's basically tailor-made to help Skirk shine, especially if you have a good shielder in your team. The only catch? You do need to make sure Skirk is paired with a character who can provide a shield. Without that, you're missing out on the biggest perks of the Calamity of Aishu. But if you've got a solid shield user, this weapon turns Skirk into a serious powerhouse while still being accessible as a 4-star option. All in all, it's one of the best value picks for Skirk's weapon pool. Let's talk about the Black Sword, easily one of the best 4-star weapons for Skirk in Genshin Impact. With a base attack of 510, it's a bit lower compared to some other swords, but the secondary stat is where it really shines. It boosts Skirk's critical rate by 27.6%. That's huge because landing crits consistently is key to maximizing her damage output. So right off the bat, this weapon is geared toward making Skirk hit harder and more often. The real standout is the Refinement Rank 5 effect. It increases the damage dealt by Skirk's normal and charged attacks by a massive 40%, which is an enormous boost on its own. Plus, when Skirk lands a critical hit with these attacks, she regenerates health equal to 100% of her attack. This healing effect can trigger once every 5 seconds, helping her stay in the fight longer without needing to rely too much on support. That's a game changer, especially in tough battles where survivability matters. The only downside? The Black Sword isn't free-to-play friendly since it's locked behind the Battle Pass, but if you do have access to it, it's hands down one of the best choices for Skirk. It perfectly balances boosting her crit rate and damage while adding a neat self-healing mechanic, making it a fantastic weapon to keep her both powerful and durable in combat. Let's talk about Mist Splitter Reforged, one of the top-tier 5-star swords for Skirk in Genshin Impact. This weapon boasts a hefty base attack of 674, which is already a fantastic stat for maximizing damage. On top of that, it comes with a secondary stat that boosts critical damage by 44.1%, perfect for turning Skirk's hits into serious threats. So right off the bat, this sword sets Skirk up with excellent raw power and crit potential. What really makes Mist Splitter Reforged stand out is its unique effect. It grants a 12% elemental damage bonus across all elements, and then stacks additional elemental damage bonuses based on the wielder's element, up to 28% at max stacks. Since Skirk's damage is mostly elemental when she uses her normal attacks, this effect directly boosts her damage output in a huge way. The stacking mechanic encourages active play, rewarding you for using elemental bursts and normal attacks frequently, which fits Skirk's playstyle well. Plus, if you think about it, Skirk replacing Ayaka in every Morgana team kind of makes it feel natural to also steal her signature weapon, right? Mist Splitter Reforged not only amps up Skirk's elemental damage and crit damage, but also gives her a solid edge with its high base attack. If you're aiming for peak performance, this sword is a no-brainer for Skirk in Genshin Impact. Alright, let's chat about Harangepaku Futsu, Ayato's signature sword, and why it's a fantastic option for Skirk in Genshin Impact. Right out of the gate, it offers a strong base attack of 608, which is solid for a 5-star weapon, and it comes with a juicy 33.1% critical rate as its secondary stat. That's a serious boost to Skirk's chance to land critical hits, making her normal attacks hit harder and more often. Exactly what you want. The weapon's effect is pretty cool and fits Skirk's gameplay nicely. When other party members use their elemental skills, Skirk gains stacks of Wave Spike, which can stack up to 2 times. Then, when Skirk uses her own elemental skill, all those stacks get consumed to trigger Rippling Upheaval. Each stack increases her normal attack damage by 20% for 8 seconds. So, with 2 stacks, that's a huge 40% damage boost on normal attacks, which works perfectly with Skirk's attack-focused playstyle. All in all, Haran Geppaku Futsu not only gives Skirk a nice boost to her crit rate and base attack, but also adds significant elemental and normal attack damage through its passive. It's a great way to harness Ayato's signature weapon for Skirk, making it one of the best swords she can wield in Genshin Impact. If you're looking for a weapon that fits her kit and adds a ton of damage, this one definitely deserves a spot in your inventory. Let's dive into Azurite, which many consider the absolute best sword for Skirk in Genshin Impact. Right off the bat, it offers a massive base attack of 674, one of the highest you'll find among 5-star swords, paired with a solid 22.1% boost to critical rate. These stats alone set Skirk up for some serious damage output, making her hits not only stronger but more likely to crit. But what really puts Azurite in a league of its own is its effect. After Skirk uses her elemental skill, she gets a 24% attack boost for 12 seconds. And here's the kicker. If her energy drops to 0 during that time, she gains an additional 24% attack boost plus a whopping 40% critical damage increase. This means that at low energy, which can happen during aggressive playstyles, Skirk's damage potential skyrockets, turning her into a full-on DPS machine. In short, Azurite perfectly complements Skirk's kit by boosting both her attack and critical damage at key moments, allowing her to dominate any fight she's in. If you want to maximize Skirk's damage and ensure she stays at the top of her game, Azurite is the sword to go for in Genshin Impact. It's simply a powerhouse weapon tailored for her playstyle. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.